Hi everyone, Anna Kessler here with a new video tutorial, and today we are going to learn some burlap techniques. So I have some burlap pages, they're 6 by 6, and I'm going to start with the first technique of spraying them. So any type of spray, it can be distress ink spray, it can be dilution spray, it can be acrylic paint spray. Any kind of spray is perfect for burlap because burlap is a type of fabric. So the surface is kind of coarse. It's not, it's very coarse. So basically you will need to work with something that can be absorbed by the burlap and is not very gentle. Another technique you can do is fray the edges by removing some of the threads. That will give it a really cool look. And of course, any collage technique will work perfectly on burlap because you can use whatever you want to attach to burlap. So that can be paper, fabric, lace, metal, any type of material you can glue to the burlap. Of course, you need to use the right glue. If you use metal, then you need to use a really strong glue, like maybe industrial E6000 glue, or even matte medium, heavy matte medium. But for paper, just regular glue, liquid glue will be enough. Double-sided tape is not going to work very well on burlap because, like I said, the surface of burlap is very coarse. So anything that is very gentle, doesn't have enough teeth to it, will not hold. So it's like a very bumpy fabric. Next, let's try stenciling. So when you work with stenciling on a burlap, you need to work with a stencil that has a large pattern. Stencils with small or very delicate patterns will not work on burlap. And working with acrylic paint instead of ink is better because, again, you need a material that will go through the pattern of the stencil all the way to the burlap and stay there. And basically, if you use a very gentle or very delicate pattern with the stencil, it will not work. So I'm adding some, again, call it collage pieces. Now I want to add another layer of stenciling on the paper and on the burlap, using a sponge to apply my paint, and that is the best way. Next, I'm going to spray again, and I want to try some stamping. So for stamping, again, before that, let's see. Applying paint with the finger is another way to apply paint on a burlap. Just making a little frame around the page. You can do this with a brush. Any type of liquid paint would work on burlap. Applying it again with the finger or with a brush. And of course, since a burlap is a type of fabric, any fabric will work on it. So if you want to sew something to the burlap, of course it will work. You can do it by hand or with a sewing machine. I have here this piece. This is from canvas, so it works great when I attached it with some glue. And for stamping, again, you need to use something that is not very delicate or gentle and has very clear boundaries and shapes. And I just use StazOn ink. I think that distress ink will work less because you need to have a permanent strong ink. You can also add some text with stamping. And basically you can incorporate a burlap page on a scrapbook, in your junk journal, in an art journal, in a mini album. You see the stamping comes out really well. You can read whatever it is that you stamped. And then you can go ahead and add some collage pieces. And of course, you can use burlap to create patterns or shapes, in a die cut machine. I used the large, thick Sizzix dies. They work perfectly. Spellbinders didn't work as well. They were not, the knife of the Spellbinders die cuts were not sharp and strong enough to cut them. But the Sizzix die cuts worked perfectly, and this is how I made these flowers for this from the same burlap pages that I have. So again, you can go ahead and play with your burlap pages and see how you can add things to them. And this is some of the burlap strings that I framed before. I'm going to use them as well on the page. So this is a really fun way to add texture, because the burlap has a completely different texture than paper. And it's a really great way to add texture to any project that you make. You don't have to use an entire page. You can just use a piece of burlap. And these are gelatos, which are water reactive crayons. Any type of crayons will also work on burlap. Any type of liquid paint, like I said, sprays, ink with stamping, stenciling. So there are quite a few techniques that you can use on your burlap. And again, you don't have to use a complete page. You can take a piece like the flower that I did with the die cut machine, or just a square, or cut with your scissors, any type of shape that you want, and add that to a mini album, to a scrapbook page, and it will add a different look and different texture to whatever it is you're making. So I really recommend trying this and playing with it and see what you come up with. So these are the 3 pages that I did. I actually really like how they turned out. Don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, but I'll think about it. And another thing I wanted to tell you is the new membership that I have on YouTube. There is a new button, if you noticed, says join. So you have an opportunity to sponsor me and the channel. So I'll have more time to create more content for you, and I'll have the opportunity to create more exclusive content for members. You get all kinds of perks and all kinds of exclusive content and video only for members. And it's going to be really, really fun. I just started it last week, and you can go ahead and click on the join button and see everything that you're going to get. I want to emphasize that everything that was free is still going to be free. There is still going to be free video every week, and you can still enjoy all the free stuff that I share with you. So go ahead and check it out and see all the perks that you're going to get. Thank you very much for joining me. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video. And I will see you next time.